Hello, church family. It's Pastor Moses coming to you with this week's midweek thoughts. Since the second week of July, we have looked at some of your Old Testament heart stories. We started with creation and we went through many different stories in Genesis. We looked at David and Goliath. We looked at the stories of Ruth, of Esther. We looked at stories of Samson, of Jonah. And this Sunday, we conclude our heart stories before we move into our fall sermon series. And the last heart story that we'll be looking at is a story of none other than Job. In Job chapter 1, it says, "In the land of Uz there lived a man whose name was Job. This man was blameless and upright. He feared God and shunned evil. He had 7 sons and 3 daughters. He owns 7,000 sheep, 3,000 camels, 500 yoke of oxen, and 500 donkeys, and had a large number of servants. He was the greatest man among all the people of the East." We're talking about someone who loved God. We're talking about someone who feared God. We're talking about someone who was upright and blameless before God. Now, Scripture goes on to really speak about that. Now, number 7, Numbers 3, these all talk about the perfection, how completeness. And of course, Job is wonderful. And through the next 42 chapters, we see a story of Job, a story of suffering, a story where he loses things, a story where he encounters trouble, a story where we ask those questions, why is there suffering? Or that question, why do bad things happen to good people? Why do bad things happen to people who are blameless and upright, a person who feared God and who shunned evil? I mean, isn't that exactly what we're asked to do? Now, I don't have an answer for you. And I probably won't have an answer for you this Sunday. But we'll be reading the last chapter of Job to see his confession, to hear what he has to say after all of these experiences that he has. So I encourage you to come out this Sunday, join us for worship as we look at the life of Job and his final things that he has to say, and also as we wrap up this series. And I also encourage you, if you have some time, why don't you take some time meditating on the book of Job before you come to church on Sunday. Blessings.